Happy Friday, Reds fans. And if you're somehow watching this and you're not a Reds fan, well, thanks for being here. The Reds are linked to a free agent that's an interesting free agent. So I thought I'd come on here and talk about it. And there's enough other news out there that I figured I'd hop on and we could have a little chat. But the Reds were predicted to sign Ryan O'Hearn um, from the San Diego Padres from an article on Sports Illustrated, and it was by Will Laws and Nick Selby. I wanted to make sure I gave the authors of the article some love. But O'Hearn played with the Baltimore Orioles in the first half of last season, and he had an incredible first half, slashing 283, 374, 463 with 29 extra base hits and 13 home runs. Because of his good first half, and the Orioles had a terrible season last year, the Orioles shipped him off to San Diego, where he was solid in the second half. He kind of came back to his career norms. He did not hit for much power in the second half. He slashed 276, 350, 387 with 4 home runs with the Padres. Um, Here's the quote from the article, what those guys had to say about O'Hearn going to the Reds. They said there's a good chance 2025 will be the only year he ever makes it to the All-Star game, but the lefty's bat to ball skill and commendable defense at least gives him a high production floor. So defensively, he played 71 games at first base, 2 games in left field, 20 games in right field, and 50 games as the designated hitter. So if the Reds were to sign him, it feels like they're giving the first base job to Sal Stewart, which I actually love. I want Sal Stewart to play every day next year. If he learns first base and is good at it, great. I don't think they want to just make him a DH every day at this point in his career. So it feels like O'Hearn, if they were to sign him, he would be the DH. He's played 22 games in the outfield last year, but I'm not sure the Reds would put him out there. He would probably play some first base when Stewart, when you want to put him at the DH or give him an off day. He was projected to get a 2-year, $27 million deal by ESPN. They also threw in that any kind of deal 1 to 2 years, a little over 10 million is what they think O'Hearn will get on the open market. And that kind of deal is honestly a deal that the Reds can probably afford. So it wouldn't shock me if they were in on O'Hearn. What's interesting about O'Hearn is his career. He has some big drastic splits. Versus right-handed pitching, 258, 327, 432 in his career. Versus left-handed pitching, 217, 287, 355. So big splits there. However, in 2025, he had reverse splits, 281, 368, 427 against right-handed pitching in 435 at bats, and 278, 358, 832 and 100 at bats against I have that wrong. 832 is obviously his OPS, not his slugging there. I missed a number. But 832 OPS against left-handed pitching as a left-hander for O'Hearn in 2025. So he had reverse splits last year. I'm not sure you can count on that keeping up, but it is interesting to know. I'm not sure O'Hearn. I think he would be a good signing. I think he is someone you could plug in the lineup and he makes your lineup better. He has kind of a high floor, I would say, but I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to move the needle a whole lot. So while I'd be fine with the signing, I wouldn't love it. I would love the Reds to find a way to spend more money, go after someone bigger, but obviously we're not sure that's going to happen anyway. While we're talking about money, the Reds, this is kind of a feel-good story. The Reds and Tejay Antone agreed to a new deal for 2026. Antone announced on Instagram on Friday. Antone is coming off 3 Tommy John surgeries. He obviously has been with the Reds for a while. He's pitched with the Reds for over 4 seasons, had a 2.47 ERA in 61 games. Antone's a fan favorite. He had his last Tommy John surgery early in 2024. He appeared in 15 games in the minors over high A Double-A and Triple-A in the 2025 season. He didn't have good stats. He gave up 23 hits and 17 runs in 15 games, over 15 innings. But I don't think I'm going to look too much into those stats, as he was just getting back, trying to get healthy, trust his arm again. So we'll see if he actually does anything to warrant a major league roster spot in 2026. But man, if he would get back, that would be a feel good story and a cool story, because everybody loves Tejay Antone. Everybody's rooting for him. And coming back from 3 Tommy John surgeries that's a lot of work put in. So we're rooting for him. We're all rooting for him. So we'll see what he does in 2026. The other day, I mentioned the Reds had shown interest in Devin Williams, and there was more smoke to that on Friday morning. Will Salmon, previously from The Athletic, reported the Reds have shown interest. And then Bob Nightingale from USA Today on Thursday, he said that the Reds have met with Williams reps. So it's not just saying, hey, we have interest. They've apparently met and talked about a deal. I think I talked about it the other day. I'm not sure the Reds are going to be willing to give out what he's going to want. I mean, you're going to talk about a guy that's probably going to get at least $15 million a year. That's a ton for a reliever. He's coming off the worst year of his career, but his peripheral numbers are pretty good. He had a 4.79 ERA in 67 games with the Yankees. However, before that with the Brewers, in 241 games, he had a 1.83 ERA and 68 saves. Nick Krall was asked about it in an article by Gordon Wittenmeyer of the Inquirer, and he said, "I'm not going to comment on anybody, but we have to rebuild our bullpen. There's interest in a lot of different guys." So a big nothing burger quote from Krall there. But I guess you can't roll it out. There's been a couple guys that have mentioned it, but again, I probably wouldn't count on it. Alfredo Duno goes off in the Arizona Fall League playoffs. He hit a home run 2 nights ago, and last night, Thursday, for whatever day you might be watching this, but Thursday, Duno hit 3 home runs for the Javelinas. He hit 1 home run the night before. The Javelinas won 9-4 to advance. There was an article by Jesse Borick of MLB.com, and Duno was quoted as saying through an interpreter, "This is a day that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life." In the first inning, Duno hit a 3-run home run. In the 5th inning, he hit a 2-run home run and followed up with a solo home run in the 9th. He also was quoted in the article, "I knew as soon as I hit those balls, it was hard and far. I think those are 2 of the longest homers that I've hit in my career." Duno is a top Reds prospect, built like an ox. He's still only 19 years old. He had actually struggled in the AFL until the playoffs, and now he's just kind of going off. But man, he's exciting to watch, and he's fun to watch. He spent all of the 2025 season with low A Daytona. He's expected to start 2026 in high A Dayton. Now, this is one that got the old Twitter app fired up on Thursday when I posted it. Justin Turner, who played for the Cubs last season, he is 41 years old. He had a quote. I think this was also in an article from Gordon Wittenmeyer. He had a quote that said, "I've always wanted to play for Terry Francona." Would this be an option for the Reds? Obviously, I don't think Turner is going to go for much money on the open market. It'd be a low-cost contract. Maybe you could, replace him in like the Santiago Espinal role. Obviously, he's not going to play a ton in the field for you, but he did have an OPS of 759 against left-handed pitching last season, so that's respectable. A guy you can put in there against lefties. Now, against right-handed pitching, his OPS was 387. He had just 10 extra base hits last year for the Cubs. So I doubt this would be something that the Reds would do, but who knows? Maybe if it gets down the line and the Reds are just looking to add a veteran to the clubhouse, because I think Turner's known for being a good clubhouse guy and somebody that you can slide in there against left-handed pitching. That could work. But that's it. That's the news for today, Friday. Happy Friday to all of you who are listening. The YouTube continues to grow, and I appreciate all of you that take the time to listen. Again, we also put this out on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you can get your podcast. Thank you for listening. As always, go Reds. We'll see you next time. See ya.